Welcome, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy weekend.
Yes. It's a celebration for the weekend. But
as an entertainer, I don't know that we really have a true weekend.
No, it's actually my Monday.
Yeah, right. My name is Branden Nix, and we're going to be joined today by the fabulous and talented Miss Robin Vincent. Yeah, you hear those cat calls from the audience?
Yes. Oh, there's so many of them. Thank you for coming to the show.
Yes. How you doing?
I'm great.
It's been a while. We live streamed earlier, so we caught up a little bit, like in the makeup chair, and I haven't seen you in forever.
I know. Sometimes coming and going because we work at the same place. But
I have to throw this out real quick. We're gonna get to it a little bit later, but this woman may be the busiest person that I know in town. You honestly, I swear to God, I'm not even kidding. I scroll through Facebook daily, and you're doing something different, like every day.
I'm kind of a Sybil, I guess. That's an old reference too. I don't know if people even understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, I do dabble in quite a few different things, and I'm not really sure how that happened, but it keeps, the variety is the spice of life. But I know people who work way harder than I do. I mean, when I'm not working, I'm down. I mean, I am down. I am on the couch. I got my feet up. I'm lucky that, I don't have kids and other huge responsibilities outside of work. No. I might be working on music and booking in things at home on the computer, but
learning.
Yeah, things but I know people when they're not gigging, they're at another job, or they've got their kids and they've got all these other things. So I don't feel like I can take credit for being the busiest person, but people do label me that sometimes. And
you're clearly doing something right. You're everywhere. You're working everywhere. It's funny that you said that because I know July 4th week, or whatever we want to call it, because it fell on a Tuesday or something this year, which is weird. But I actually had a couple of days off, and it's the first time in years that I've had a few days off surrounding 4th of July. And I think we have a picture. This is what I ended up doing. I
love it.
100-pound pit bull Great Dane.
That's
and
that's exactly what you should have been doing too. That would be my happy place right there.
Well, here's the deal. Again, I'm always working, so I'm not really seeing how the dogs react to fireworks. And this year, you've seen it on the news. We set a record with like illegals and like crazy stuff going off in the neighborhoods. It sounded like a war zone outside my front door.
See. I'm sorry, but I can't get behind it. I just can't.
I think they're going to hopefully do some measures to take care of it next year. But this guy, 100 pounds, and I was trying to cook Brady. Well, I call him this guy. He's got a lot of... He does have a hashtag.
He's all over Facebook. Branden Nix is all. I've watched since he was a puppy. I've watched your
okay,
pictures.
Well, here's the deal. When I got him from the shelter, he was like yay big, right?
Can you believe it?
And they told me he was just a pit bull. He kept growing. And I went to my vet, who's a friend of mine, and I was like, I think he's got something else in him, because he's not. He's a horse.
Right.
And they did the swab test, the DNA test, and
you actually did that.
I had to, because he wouldn't stop growing. I was
so that's where the Great Dane
he's a mutant
came
or
from.
something. And so then he called me and he was like, "Oh, Branden, you are right. He's a pit bull, but he's also 70% Great Dane."
70%. Well,
so.
You got your Marmaduke there.
But he was so scared all weekend, and so we laid like this, and I had to like coddle him and hold him, and he was in my lap and just shaking. And
well, I'm so glad you were there with him then, because I've had dogs in the past where we had to actually get doggy quaaludes from the vet, because in preparation for it, because we knew how they were going to react and maybe couldn't be home with them. The dogs I have now aren't as affected. Actually, I'm pretty lucky. They're not as affected. But we did have a lot of stuff going on in the neighborhood, even after I got home from work that night and the days prior as well.
It went on until 1 o'clock in the morning in my neighborhood.
Yeah. And then all the dogs that wound up running away, which I really don't get, because I don't know how all these dogs are.
I feel that it's people that leave doggy doors open. And they're like, say at work or something, and then they get out in the backyard and then they like freak out and they jump a fence or something. So
yeah.
What did you do on your 4th?
I worked. Big surprise.
See? What did I tell you? Guess what? She worked on the 4th.
I worked with a fabulous band called the Moonshiners. Are you familiar with the Moonshiners?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Savannah Smith is the originator of that band, but she's real busy working on cruise ships and doing her thing.
Yeah, she's in Alaska now or something, right?
So when she can't work, they call in a sub, and they have Laura Wright, who subs with them too, who I think is also on a ship right now. So I'm home, and I got to play with them out at the park, which was an outside gig, and it was quite warm. The park at T-Mobile.
In front of T-Mobile.
Yeah. But they're really fun. It was a lot of learning up front, because they do arrangements of popular songs, but their own arrangements. And
kind of postmodern jukebox stuff.
Yes, very.
I've seen them at Commonwealth before.
Yeah, it's a cool vibe. I love it. So it's fun. When they call me, I try real hard to be available.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
there they are. Yes. Here's Savannah and
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Yes.
They're great. I would be interested in seeing you with your little curl. She was just describing to me when she does her
Cupie.
She does Swing City Dolls.
Yes.
And the other girls have
there's my girl
long hair, and she has the Cupie.
Yeah, I had a little more hair for that photo shoot. Sean Saunders did our hair and makeup for that shoot.
Sean is great.
He's amazing.
Hi, Sean.
Yeah, hi, Sean.
Watching.
Hi, boyfriend. If I could share my husband with him, it would make his life. We drool over my husband. We have a mutual admiration society for my husband. But yes, he did our hair and makeup for that shoot. It's my friend Natalie Carson and Connie Murray, and this is our group. This is my baby.
Right.
That we have our regular gig, one coming up next weekend at Red Rock.
You guys are in the rotation at Red Rock,
next
right?
Wednesday. I'm sorry. Yes, it's a really nice, wonderful Wednesday evening that they created. They kind of called it Senior Night, and they have different groups that rotate on the Wednesday night. It's free. It's from 7 to 8:30. We have swing kids come out and dance in this big dance floor. It's really awesome.
I did it a few weeks ago with Sina.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I love her.
The same time slot, 7 to 8:30.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's terrific.
Which is great, because for those of us that are gigging, we can do it and then get out and make, the late gig.
See, you like to double up too.
I do. It's been a while for me. Mm-hmm. It's been a minute, and it's hard to get it back into my brain again. I played last night, and I actually have this question for you too. I met an Australian couple, and they were so sweet, and they were from the Northwest Territory, like up where there's like no big cities and stuff. And they were like, oh my God, Las Vegas. It's crazy, right? There's like Crocodile Dundee type people. And they were like, how do you learn all this stuff? How do you put this in your brain? And I couldn't. And his last question was like, how many songs do you think you know? And
I get that question all the time.
I don't know. A lot of these songs that are on the set list, I don't know if you're like this, but sometimes they come up and I don't know the first word of the song until it starts. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I know that song. I got it. What's your ritual? How do you learn all this music? Because clearly you're doing everything in town.
I get that question a lot. And I think part of it started with me when I started singing. My first band that I really started with was an 80s cover band, Love Shack. I was a theater girl up until then. I'd never sung in a band before, but I found out early when I moved to Vegas that if I wanted to survive, I was going to need to, go into the
absolutely
the cover band business, and that's what's really been paying my bills. I do shows from time to time when they're available, but I found out when I started working with Love Shack that most of those songs were already in my brain. That was
because
my era.
You grew up with them.
Yeah. So this is the Whippets.
This is the Whippets, which
spawned from Love Shack.
Yes.
It was a sister band. We started out with Love Shack, where we dress up as 80s pop stars, and it was a all 80s cover band that used to play at Texas Station back in the day. When the band started growing and more people started joining as sub positions and things like that, they had a whole nother lineup that they could start another band with. And they came up with this concept of the Whippets. And we kind of have evolved quite a bit since then into what we are today.
Yeah.
But again, it's 80s music.
Yeah, which is quite special.
With a German fetish.
And she literally whips it.
I do.
Whips it good.
I smack a lot of... I get a lot of tail.
And I know Tony likes it.
Tony is terrific. He took this character. He wasn't the original singer from the band. It was John Lombardo.
Okay.
And we were a 5-piece. And when we started at Carnival Court, which is where we are now, we went down to a 4-piece, mostly for budget reasons. We all wanted to make a little bit more money. And Tony's great.
Sadly, the keyboards got cut from a lot of gigs.
Yeah. And Tony plays guitar and sings, so he was able to cover 2 positions in one. And he's just so terrific. He's developed this character that people just come to see. I mean, they come from all over. I'm not kidding you. They plan their vacations.
He literally wears a onesie.
Yes, he's kind of think Bruno. With a really bad accent. I don't even know what his accent is.
Give us your best German accent to describe what you do in this show.
Well, for me, I am there to keep things in line. I control the situation because my brother, Helmut von Schwarzenegger, gets his bus off the rails all the time. And so I am there to take a song request. We have a request bucket. It's my pink vessel. You can put in your request into my vessel, and I will give you pleasure through your ear holes and every orifice. We played at Senior Fogg's.
You got props from Scott.
This is funny.
Say hi, Scott.
Hi, Scott. Thank you. People will do that was you, and they don't believe it was me. You thought the Whippets were from out of town.
No.
Well, people actually think we're from Germany, which blows my mind because I like I said, my accent's kind of taken from
shocker.
From that's funny. People do believe it, and they will come up and start speaking it to me, in German. I'm like, no sprechen Sie. Like, I'm from San Diego, dude.
Right. Right. Well, speaking of being from, in a segue from Germany to Whippets and to California. So what made you decide to move out here to Vegas? What was it that led you
A boy.
Here? Of course.
I used to do a lot of things because of
shit happens.
But it's all good.
Well, clearly,
it turned out to be a good thing. The boy thing didn't last more than a couple months after we moved here. But
that career is still banging.
Well, I was really... I had no idea what I was going to do. To me, Vegas was a place. I grew up in San Diego. We came to Vegas, jumped a lot of money, lost a lot. I loved playing blackjack at the tables back. I never played machines, still don't. But I thought you had to be 6 feet tall to work on stage in Vegas. So coming here,
because it used to be that way.
Yeah. So I had just graduated from college a few years earlier and gone on ships. And in school, even in theater department, Vegas was a cliche. It was never taken seriously. It was where you go to die. I mean, so when I ended up with this dancer who I had met doing a chorus line, we stood next to each other on the line for several months doing dinner theater, a chorus line, and the guy was gorgeous. And we called him Tank Boy. He played Mike, I played Maggie, and I was in lust with this guy, and he had an opportunity to move to Vegas after I got off the ship. So I said, okay, what the heck, I'm gonna live dangerously. So I came out here, didn't think I was gonna have any opportunity to perform, and immediately got a waitressing job at Crown and Anchor. Never waitressed before in my life. Yeah,
it's good.
Well, huge trays. They had like 100 beers on tap. I had to learn so much. I'd never been a server in my life, and I thought, well, I'm going to be a struggling, actor, and I'm going to be a server now. But I got really lucky and got hooked up with some auditions right away, and had that job for 3 weeks. Got hired at the MGM in their performance troupe called Grandmosphere at the theme park, and also got a night show, which was a 50s review at what was the Continental Hotel. So immediately within 3 weeks, I had day job, night job, and
awesome.
I was performing 12 hours a day, and I was like, oh my gosh.
And
what?
there were so many shows back then.
Yeah.
There was so much opportunity for, to perform for a living. And
you didn't have to be a circus performer or 6 feet tall. And so, I got really lucky. I started working right away and met some great people, made some good connections, and just established a work ethic and I guess a reputation for showing up. And sometimes that's really important.
I saw you in this.
That was Company.
This was Company. This was what, am I wrong? This was Ragtag Productions.
Yes,
right?
it was that. Yeah, this is why when I first met Andy.
You played Amy.
I played Amy, the crazy reluctant bride.
Crazy.
Yes.
What's the name of the song? I'm Not Getting Married.
Not Getting Married. Yes.
You were hysterical. I want to say that might have been one of the first times we've worked together. A few things, passing here and there. We did hair together for Ragtag as well, which I think was with your swing.
Well, it was supposed to be, but at the last minute, Jacqueline stepped in and replaced one of the girls because her mother had passed away.
Yeah.
But yes, that's what the trio was.
But you were so funny in this. I love that role anyway. It's hysterical.
I was blessed to get it. I was very surprised they gave it to me, and then of course completely intimidated by the rapid fire song that I was responsible for. But this was such a wonderful production, and we did it just 2 nights because it was in that huge room at the Hilton.
It was at Barry Manilow's old space,
Elvis's old space, I call it. Yeah,
but
forever.
At the time, it was Barry Manilow.
Is that where he
Theater,
was?
I think, right?
Which is now the Westgate, but I will always call it the Hilton, I think. Which I shouldn't because I actually work there sometimes.
People are like, meet me at the Westgate. I'm like, where's that?
I know.
Oh, wait.
Parentheses. It will forever have parentheses as the Las Vegas Hilton.
Yeah.
But Eiler was the star, played Bobby in this production, and I had never met him before. And I was just absolutely blown away by Eiler's performance in this. And it was a very strong cast and so much fun. Huge orchestra on stage.
It was such a great show.
Yeah.
It was such a great show.
I wish we could have done it more.
And here we have.
This is me.
See, we could talk literally for an hour just about the different gigs that she does in this town.
I host a show at the Suncoast from time to time. It's an afternoon show. It's on Wednesday afternoons, and it's a real fun little variety show that they do. And I've got one coming up on August 2nd. So I want to make sure I say that. This was a really fun way for me to learn how to host and be more comfortable speaking on the microphone and all that, because I had never fronted a band before. I was a scripted, I grew up learning scripted dialogue, and I was one of the original hosts of this, and it's so much fun. We get to bring different people on and kind of sing whatever we want. So I don't usually perform with a boa, so that might have been like, I don't know, Diamonds or A Girl's Best Friend.
I chose this. I chose this picture because I thought it was fabulous. So I put it on and I made sure that they had it. I was like, yes, you better work with that pink boa.
Yeah, I'm not
But then you swallow the feathers.
Right.
I've never worked with a boa before.
Never.
Never.
You don't seem like the type that ever would work with a boa.
Well,
I'm going to have to search your Facebook page.
Well, you knew my dog's hashtag name, so yeah. So you are Brady. Now. Is this your first time performing at a House Seats Presents?
I don't think so.
Event?
No. I think last summer we did Pat Benatar at, I believe that was House Seats. Yes. Yeah, Pat Benatar, and then it was followed by Van Halen.
Yes.
And Amanda Kaiser had put together the Pat Benatar section and invited me to sing Heartbreaker.
Yeah. We've done Amy Winehouse. We've done Alanis Morissette.
No. I'm sorry. I saw Alanis and I saw Queen.
Jagged Little Pill. Queen.
And you were fierce in Queen.
Thanks.
My gosh.
It was special. We broke records at Queen, and so we want to break more records with Rolling Stone, and I was supposed to be a part of it with you guys, but
you're not doing it?
I can't. I'm working gigs.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I know.
Gig life.
I know.
I got something offered to me like semi-permanently, so I had to. I
well,
can't
good.
Do it.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I wanted to be there with you guys that night. So what are you singing? By the way, we're doing Hot Rocks by Rolling Stones.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And you can get tickets at houseseatspresents.com. But for you watchers and listeners at home, if you email houseseatspresents@vegasvideonetwork.com, you can reserve your tickets for this show.
For free. Yes.
I like to say free 99. Yeah. So go to that website, go to that email address, houseseatspresents@vegasvideonetwork.com. And we want you all to email in and reserve your tickets. Because this is going to be a great show.
Well, who doesn't love the Rolling Stones?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's going to be some great. And I've only seen a portion of the lineup, so I don't know everybody that's going to be doing it. But powerhouse voices. And I was really thrilled that Andy asked me to do this one. And I got lucky. I got first dibs, I think, before he had created the lineup for the show. So I'm doing the coveted...
Yeah, what are you doing?
Gimme Shelter.
Oh, okay.
Which is a duet. And I actually don't know who my partner is yet. I said pair me up with somebody. And it's going to be a surprise for me until rehearsal. I'm not sure. At this point, I'm kind of just waiting.
It so sucks because literally my hours for the night are the same exact hours as the show.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm going to rush over there after Carnival Court.
Yeah.
And he had asked so far in advance. I thought, gosh, I hope something important doesn't come up that I can't say no to. I hope that I can keep this night open. And it was serendipitous because no one asked me to work on the 14th.
Shocker. I know we've got Ashley Fuller in the show. Which
I got chills when you said her name.
Yeah.
she is one of my favorites.
She's incredible.
She's a freak of nature is what
Paul
she is.
Johnson is in it.
Yes.
Jason Allen will be there.
Oh, that makes me happy.
Yeah. Those are just a few.
I know
of the
Michelle
names.
Johnson is doing it.
Okay.
I saw Ann Martinez's name on there. So,
it's just going to be a rock star lineup.
Yeah. So very exciting.
Let's talk about some things that have happened here in town this past week. Cirque just bought Blue Man.
I read that. Wow.
Did you not know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yesterday they dropped the ball. Didn't drop the ball, but they dropped the news that they just bought Blue Man worldwide.
Yeah.
Meaning all 5 of the I think it's New York, Las Vegas, Chicago, Boston, and I forget the other city that they're in.
Those are just their standing shows that they have
in the US.
Yeah.
I do believe they have a show somewhere internationally as well. But their plan is to take the show, and you and I, we've been in Vegas forever, and we've seen so many reincarnations of Blue Man. So what are your thoughts of that? Like, do you think it's a good thing?
To me, I mean, it seems
just
like
going to be another Cirque show.
Well, I hate to even say another Cirque show, but it does seem like, and not because I don't love Cirque. I love Cirque, but. It is a little bit of a sensitive topic sometimes for us in Las Vegas, and for obvious reasons. Yeah. I can't put my ankles behind my ears. Sorry, my husband. My condolences to my husband, but I can't.
She's tried.
So there are few opportunities for us. A few of our friends have gotten in there as the vocal parts, which are great. Lily RC sings for Cirque and Timara. But for most of us, it doesn't create a lot of opportunity. However, I think the pairing of Blue Man and Cirque makes a lot of sense.
Don't you think it's kind of magical?
I just
as
kind of got
many
goosebumps.
times, like I said, as they've reconceived this concept and reimagined everything about it, I think it could be like crazy off the charts cool.
Yeah, I do too. I can imagine what else they're planning on doing to take it to another level.
Well, it said Cirque has 18 shows around the world that are Cirque shows.
Wow.
And adding Blue Man Group is going to make it like so much bigger, and they want to expand it internationally. I think the article said that they're looking at Macau Well, because that's where everything is going right now, right? It's like to China, to Macau. Like it's kind of like it's the new Vegas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I don't think I could ever make that journey. It seems I'm a little sketchy and scary, but I know a lot of friends who have had great success.
Gone over and done it,
going
done
over
it really
to Asia
well.
and performing. I think it's a great thing. I hope for all the performers' sake, that this is good for them. In the long run, that's kind of what I'm
maybe it
hoping,
can lead to other gigs through Cirque, because there's so much talent. The Blue Man Group is crazy. There's so much talent on that stage, and you don't see a lot of them, especially because they're covered in makeup or the paint that they put on their faces, and they're like in these windows. One of our guitar players that plays for House Seats Presents, Elvis Lederer, has been in Blue Man Group forever, and he used to play for Chris Angel. He was a guitar player for Chris Angel for a while. So hopefully it'll. Well, and Vince, who wrote the title song for this show.
My friend Corky Gainsford drummed with them forever. He played with us in Love Shack, and he was one of the original drummers in the Whippets. And he was Blue Man. I know Mike Zuder, guitar player. I don't know if you ever worked with Mike Zuder. I worked with him a lot. He played the show for a while as a guitar player. So I know a lot of great musicians who have gone through there.
I've thought about strapping a bald cap on and paint myself.
Well, listen, you keep using that product.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Not kidding. Maybe I won't have to use a bald cap. Maybe it just will fall out.
Keep it up with that product and you're good to go.
We also want to send out a huge congratulations to Baz. They just celebrated 2 days ago their 1-year anniversary.
Oh, I love that show. And I just read that Ruby Lewis is coming back as well.
Yes, she is. They speaking of Cirque, because when it opened at Light, it was a Cirque theatrical production.
Yes, I saw it there.
They pulled her. It's no longer Cirque no longer has a hand in it, but they pulled her out of the show
to do Broadway,
to do Paramore on Broadway.
Yeah,
and she's coming back next month, I believe, and she's fantastic. I don't know if you guys have seen Baz before. I was lucky enough to be I was lucky enough to be in it for 2-3 months as a replacement cover.
That's right, you were.
So I would go in and do it when people were on vacation or sick and this and that. It's such a wonderful, beautiful show, and I literally missed a couple of entrances because I was standing on the side of the stage listening.
Just getting caught up in it. I know.
I had a stagehand tap me on the shoulder and he's like, "Branden, go." And I was like, "Oh." And it's immersive theater, so I had to run all the way from backstage to the front of the house and grab these 2 big flower pots and like run all the way back down. It was bad. And they were all waiting for me to open the door because I was the first one through. But I couldn't help but listen to the...
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. But speaking of that, you're that guy, though. You're that guy. I know we were joking about me being a gig whore or whatever, but you're that guy they call to come in and do stuff and cover stuff. And they know that you're the guy for the job. And I think...
So high five for the gig whores.
Yes. High five gig whores. Yeah.
Well, are we hashtagging that?
It's not a bad reputation to have. I know. Yes. So we came up before the show that they said, "What do we call you, Robin?" And I said, well, we don't want to say band whore because that makes it sound like I'm blowing the band. So gig whore will work. But I think I am in about 8 or 9 bands right now.
Yeah.
It's fun though. I love it.
Again, I don't know how it fits in our heads. Like I truly don't. But it comes to that first chord of the song, and then I go, okay, I got it. Mm-hmm. This is it. But there's so much in our heads.
It is in my head. I'm a sponge. Anything from. I sing music from the 20s to current. It's crazy. I cover basically almost 100 years of music.
And she's not stopping anytime soon.
No.
Thank you so much for
Thank you.
Actually, she has to run right now and get to Carnival. She's got to go whip it with the Whippets.
Yes.
In like half an hour.
That's right. I got to strap on the old strap on.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and wish Robin luck in the heat as she whips it.
No sweat. A few margaritas, I'm good.
Yeah.
Thank you.